Okay, so today's work. So question 1 is just going to ask about the relationship. For each of the following, determine if you think the variables have a positive relation, a negative relation, or no relation. So a positive correlation, a negative correlation, or no correlation. So the first one is asking about the number of children in the house under the age of 3 and the expenditures on diapers in the house. Do you think that there is a positive correlation, a negative correlation, or no correlation? So, to reminder, a positive correlation means as one variable goes up, the other variable goes up. That's a positive correlation. So as the number of children in the house under the age of 3 increases, do you expect expenditures on diapers to increase or decrease?
Increase.
Increase. So this would be a positive correlation because they're the same. Make sense? Okay. Next one. The interest rates on cars and the number of cars sold per month. So as the interest rates increase, would you expect to sell more or less cars?
Less.
Less, right? So this is a negative correlation. Because as one thing goes up, the other goes down. The third one, the temperature at noon in a small town and the number of library books checked out. Do you expect there to be a correlation that's positive or negative or none? So as the temperature increases, would you expect to check out more library books at the library? Would you expect to check out less, or do you think it doesn't matter?
Probably less, because if the temperature's going up, maybe the people would be outside. I don't know.
I don't know. They take a book to the beach, though. So I
I'm
don't know.
not one of those people, but sure.
So I think we're going to go with no correlation. Okay, there's no correlation because we don't know. Does that make sense? Now, a lot of these, they're asking you to just guess whether it's positive or negative. So a lot of times it'll be explained. So if Kate said, well, as it gets warmer, less people are reading because they're outside, that would be fine because that's a reasonable explanation based on the fact that you don't know. Okay, let's look at number 2. For 100 counties in the US, the linear correlation coefficient between the infant mortality rate and the average number of TVs per capita was found to be R equals negative 0.84. So what does this mean? What does an R value being negative 0.84 look like in the graph?
It's going downward. It's decreasing.
Yeah, we have it downward. So it's a negative correlation. So there's a strong, it's pretty strong, negative correlation. So that's just my first go at it. But what does it mean about infant mortality and the number of TVs per capita? That means the higher the infant mortality, the lower the number of TVs per capita. Does that make sense? And on the picture, it would look like this. Here's the infant mortality. And here is the number of TVs. And we would expect a picture that goes this way. It's not a perfect picture. It's something like that. Okay. But as the infant mortality rate,
How are you get the?
you got to say it again, Heather. I didn't hear you.
How do you get?
Well,
sorry, how are you determining what's the X?
I have R is negative 0.84, which tells me I have a negative correlation that's fairly strong. So a negative correlation means as one goes up, the other goes down. So as the infant mortality rate increases, the number of TVs per capita will decrease. Okay, I don't know why. They didn't ask me that yet. Does this suggest that if we just buy people more TVs, then the infant mortality rate will decrease? So if we take a county that has a high infant mortality rate and buy everybody lots of TVs, do you think the infant mortality rate will go down?
What a crazy statistic. Who even thinks of something as bizarre as this?
I was thinking the same thing, Chris.
like,
It's
well,
awesome.
We can't like compare apples or something like that. We got to choose dead babies.
So it does not suggest that if people just buy more TVs, it will solve the problem. So the answer is no. These are related, but one doesn't cause the other. So the question is, why do you think there might be a lurking variable that plays a role? Why do you think that infant mortality rate is higher in some places than other places? So what are some other factors that might be related to infant mortality?
Money.
Yep. So one thing is the economic status.
Healthcare.
Healthcare is one of the biggest ones. And another is teenage pregnancy is also very highly correlated. Okay. Could one of those actually relate to how many TVs per capita? When do people have more TVs? When they have more rooms in their house to put the
They have more
TV in.
money.
When they have more money. So the economic status plays a big role in healthcare, in teenage pregnancy, and in infant mortality. So the economic status would be a lurking variable. Could be a lurking variable. And that's one of my favorite phrases in statistic is a lurking variable.
It sounds evil.
It does. It sounds like it's like hiding around the corner in a dark coat, in a trench coat, and a black hat.
Very
Okay.
ominous.
So the economic status could actually influence all these things: healthcare, teenage pregnancy, infant mortality, and the number of TVs per household.